What if the day of his coming was tomorrow? If we knew that we would meet the Lord tomorrow, through our premature death or through his unexpected coming, what would we do today? What confessions would we make? What practices would we discontinue? What accounts would we settle? What forgivenesses would we extend? What testimonies would we bear? If we would do those things then, why not now? Why not seek peace while peace can be obtained?
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
A parable that contains an important and challenging teaching on this subject is the parable of the 10 virgins. Of this parable, the Lord said, "And at that day, when I shall come in my glory, shall the parable be fulfilled, which I spake concerning the 10 virgins." Given in the 25th chapter of Matthew, this parable contrasts the circumstances of the 5 foolish and the 5 wise virgins. All 10 were invited to the wedding feast, but only half of them were prepared with oil in their lamps when the bridegroom came. The 5 who were prepared went into the marriage feast, and the door was shut. The 5 who had delayed their preparations came late. The door had been closed, and the Lord denied them entrance, saying, "I know you not." "Watch, therefore," the Savior concluded, "for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh." The arithmetic of this parable is chilling. The 10 virgins obviously represent members of Christ's church, for all were invited to the wedding feast, and all knew what was required to be admitted when the bridegroom came, but only half were ready when he came.
Travis Wingoodsall. I wasn't going to do a church news video tonight because really all there was the statue erected at Temple Square. The church news advertised it as a celebration of women statue. So, okay, great. Are you going to tell women that they're being prostituted? And so I went on, checked on the news this evening, and oh, Nelly, you should have listened to me, didn't you? Didn't listen to me, did you? Oh my God, we're all doomed. We're all going to die. And so, yeah, the pre-conference warning through a statue erected at Temple Square before conference on the day of doom. This is crucial because this ties to Oaks. He knows I know. He's taunting me as if he thinks he's going to get away with something. So, watching the local news, everybody's talking about it. the parable of the foolish 5 virgins. Yeah, it's the statue of the 5 foolish virgins. Oh my God, seriously? Are you really illiterate? Those of you Mormons who are upset, no, Travis, it's the wise virgins. No, it's the wise. Really? You're illiterate. You are incapable of reading and understanding what you read. Yes, there's 10. 5 of them were wise, but 5 of them were foolish. How were they differentiated from each other? Now look at the statue again. Which were they? The 5 wise or the 5 foolish? You can't just make up an answer. They are the 5 foolish virgins statue. Now this is an error on the part of the sculptor. Or is it? Or is it? Now pay attention, because we're going to read so that you can be educated. So that you can learn well, or learn good. Yeah, learn good. Oops, don't want to say that correctly. So, Matthew 25. Everybody around the whole world knows this has to do with Judgment Day. Hey, we just had that today. Wow. So, wait, Trump is Jesus? What do you think I've been exposing for you? Nobody believes. Everybody's got their own little personal Jesus on both shoulders, telling them what's true and how to hurt Travis. Then shall the kingdom of heaven, the millennial kingdom technically, heaven refers to paradise, and paradise is Eden, and thus the millennium, the earth turns back into paradise. But regardless of the symbolism being used here, be likened unto 10 virgins. These are women who have not had children. Now, they can have all the sex they want. As long as they don't have a child, they're still a virgin. Try telling that to your bishop. Now do you understand why the church doesn't want contraception, birth control pills, IUDs, abortions? They don't want you having free sex. They're still freaked out by the free sex movement of the 70s. And then they changed it to the homophobic 80s. These grumpy old men, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. The 5 of them were foolish, and 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish, pay attention, took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. Lamps already contain oil in them, but you need a reserve amount of oil. That's the vessel to carry the oil. So that you have your lamp, it has oil, it has the little wick thing in there, and then you have a little reserve can of oil to bring with you, so that throughout the wedding feast, as your oil begins to burn low, you then put in more oil. Now, granted, you can just get olive oil, and that would solve your whole problem. nonetheless, they weren't all wise, were they? Not even half of them. And so, the statue only has the women with only their lamps. There is no reserve oil with them. Thus, why it's the 5 foolish virgins. You know, sort of like the earthquake knocking out the horn of Moroni. It's one of those things you go, huh, yeah, maybe there is a God and it hates this church. But remember, this is Oaks who commissioned this to have it erected today, of all days, when the church has just raked in Google smelting infinity amount of money today, all around the world. And yeah, already expected that in the United States of America tomorrow, when the stock market opens, oh boy, the church is raking it in. And so you need to understand that the church shouldn't be doing this. Catholic Charities is having to close down their refugee program, as I saw in the news today. Utah already had to shut down their program for refugees. Now the Catholic Charities are shutting it down. Trump has cut off funding. But here the church is raking it in bigly. Far more than Trump's rewarding of Musk. So, while the bridegroom tarried, the bridegroom is the Christ. Now, how many know how to read and comprehend and understand what they read? Yeah, none of you? Unless you've been following me? Jesus is not the Christ. Christianity is not the religion. This was written by a Jew. He's talking about the Jewish Christ. Today's video, I brought up how the lamb for Passover is the lamb referred to in Revelation chapter 19. The Jewish Christ. And if you actually read your Book of Mormon rather than praying to get the right feeling that the church wants you to get, you would see, oh, it says it's in the learning of the Jews, not the Christians. So therefore it can't be another testament of Jesus Christ. Say again, are you the wise or are you the foolish virgins? You can't just say you're wise and then exude from your mouth how stupid you are. In order to be wise, you have to obey the Book of Mormon, which says, hold to the rod, the iron rod, 'twill safely guide you through. To what? The tree of life, which the original Book of Mormon said Lehi is the end result, the Christ, in symbolic type and shadow. But Brigham Young put in and partake of the fruit of the tree. Yes, Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon tells us that your Christ Mormons will be a Mormon. Now, do you understand how evil this church is? Are you offended that the church isn't true? You upset and angry with me because the prophets have been lying to you? They are false prophets. Because you didn't run the test to judge them by their fruits. If you hadn't been paying attention, you could have been judging me by my fruits for at least the last couple of days and saw how, wow, that happened quick. And then you would know that I'm telling you the truth and that I am a true seer, prophet, revelator, and translator, holding the keys of Moses, that Jewish Christ. But you don't believe. You're going to go to conference and be bound to Jesus and burned for his second coming. Here it comes, Mormons, the burning. The judgment day began today, and it has destroyed the whole earth's economy and America's tomorrow. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Jesus Trump. All bow to him, the king of ill putrescence. And so, while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. Hey, sort of like Peter, James, and John while Jesus was on the Mount of Transfiguration and saw Moses, Elisha, and Elijah. Although that's left out, that's a Joseph Smith thing because of the Kirtland Temple. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. So the foolish have oil in their lamps. Except for apparently they're gone out. So they lost that oil too. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there not be enough for us. See, this is the latter days. This isn't back in Joseph's time where they slumbered and slept for 200 years, Rumpelstiltskin. No. Was it Rumpelstiltskin? No, that's the... Who was the guy who slept? For 100 years. Rip Van Winkle. That's right. Washington Irving. We should make sure we have this for the records. Apparently it doesn't want to load. There it is. It's only 28 pages. Rumpelstiltskin was the one where you say his name and he melts. And woman grows long hair. Or has a pea under the mattress. One of those 10. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there not be enough for us and you. See how they worded that? It's not that they won't share. It's that by sharing, none of them will have enough. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. Be prepared for the death of the king. No king, la 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 la. Yeah, I liked Mufasa, that was good. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and shut the door. Zion. I've been warning and telling you all about this, trying to get those who can be wise to follow me. Because it is upon us. Oaks, by putting up the statue today, has sent you another death threat. I've warned you, and here it is. This is not a coincidence with timing. This is not a coincidence with what they were making and erecting today. It is all part of Oakes's final solution to burn you. You really need to take this seriously and not be foolish virgins. And you just won't listen. Nobody's listening anymore, except for those who are wise. And that's just what's so sad, is that Mormon is so evil that he would murder his own to keep you from being wise, to learn the truth about this scam that's going on. Because I have a short video that I can now do in a different presentation, because I've already done this numerous times over the years, of how the Book of Mormon is so awesome, exposing all of this that's going on. You know there's an enemy threat. You just didn't know it was the church. And the Book of Mormon exposes it. Exposes the identity, exposes when, and exposes how, and to what extreme. And it's happened. The Book of Mormon is awesome, and not a single Mormon believes it. That is what is so tragic. Mormons are a grim fairy tale. A Grimm Brothers fairy tale. Not the Disney remake. But oh my hell, Snow White, oh, don't even get me started on that. You have Snow White, who's Islamic, and she's a little terror. A little prima donna. Off stage. And so the Wicked Witch, Family Guy is so true, wonderful pie, a Jew is the Wicked Witch. Bleep you, Disney. What the hell? And Wonder Woman of all people. Her performance in Wonder Woman just seriously brought me to tears coming up out of the trench. That was brilliant. I've got that picture as a thumbnail picture for my screensaver. That was that brilliant. And so, yeah, they're kept out of Zion. I told you, if your name is not written in the book of the law, you don't get to come. You don't want to come, so don't worry about it. You want to go to the Burning Man this weekend. Dear God. And so then the talents of why the church is hoarding money. How can I get this through? How do I bypass the Mormon employee to warn you of the danger you're all in? How? So, I meant to cover it. I knew it was in the footnotes because I was going to cover it. And I forgot and ended the video. And so I found out as I was putting in the Oaks clips for you, which should not be copyright violations, YouTube bastard. I have the law on my side. Of course, Trump has destroyed the law. YouTube's the law unto themselves, and it's actually just the Mormon employee. Nonetheless, I will warn of the danger of this church, regardless of their evil towards me. So, the quote he is getting is not from Matthew 25. It's from section 45, where there is no day and the hour we will not know. He's mixing them together. And if you don't study your scriptures, you won't know what he did and what he pulled on you. Joseph Smith never uses "no man knows the day or the hour" in section 45. He doesn't do it. Because he finally figured it out, as Daddy had to tell him. As he learned from the Joseph Smith history, Revelation chapter 12. Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12. And so, talking obviously about the latter days, and about that Jewish Mormon who's coming, Joseph then says the quote that Oakes gives, "And at that day when I shall come in my glory, shall the parable be fulfilled which I spake concerning the 10 virgins. For they that are wise and have received the truth." How did I know? He does not quote this part. "And have taken the Holy Spirit as their guide." That's why Stanford has been instrumental lately with Laban, his research into Laban with treasury and Nephi and head cutting off and stuff. Because it all has to do with right now. That's how you take the Holy Spirit as your guide, listening to the Word and producing the results. Receiving the Word and letting the iron rod guide you to the tree of life. And not be deceived. Wow. Amazing. If you saw my thumbnail picture that I've already made. "Verily I say unto you, that they shall not be hewn down and cast into the fire." Oh my God! I did it again! Live! I rule you all! I am invincible! If you saw the James Bond movie with Pierce Brosnan, I am invincible! Oh. Cyber terrorized even at the right time for the deep freeze. He's got a sense of humor, but shall abide the day. And the earth shall be given unto them for an inheritance, because everybody else is exterminated from the burning. But you don't want to go, Mormons, and that's what's so sad. So, and the other one is section 63, verse 54. "Until that hour there shall there will be foolish virgins among the wise. I'm having trouble counting them in Utah. Well, it's an easy count in Utah. And at that hour, an entire separation of the righteous and the wicked. See, this is where I am deeply concerned, because the church is letting you believe that you're being bound, right, Sister Welsh, to Jesus to be protected from the burning. But that's why you get bound, is to be burned. You are being gathered in one location, which is a target for terrorists who are not happy with the church. I mean, you think Musk is getting burned with his Teslas. Dear God. I do not want you guys hurt. And you just are so stubborn that you just refuse to listen to the warning voice, because you do not recognize my authority, because you didn't run the simple test. And in that day I will send mine angels to pluck out the wicked and cast them into unquenchable fire. This is my inspirational, prophetic seership, associative memory, because I have the keys of the head of this church to warn you. No, Oaks is not warning you. He's threatening you. He's going to hurt you and murder you and steal from you. And you attack me, huh? Because you don't like my beaten tone? Dear God. There is a burning coming. Joseph Smith said, they who claim to be Christians are going to use Jesus as the excuse for your burning. Joseph is Jewish. Book of Mormon is Jewish. Bible is Jewish. So, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Like I said, the Book of Mormon, from its creation on 9/11/1826 at the Freemason Lodge of Canandaigua, New York, with Joseph Smith Sr. as the Master Mason, working on the book to make sure it gets published to the world, to warn those who join this church of the coming of the burning. And Mormons would rather die. So it's a good thing I did this little extra thing at the end where nobody will watch.